All right, friends, what is going on? Hello, hi. I know this episode is so much later than I wanted to be of my I Said What I Said, but welcome to my 6th episode. Plenty of things that I want to talk about today. So we're going to dive in to a lot of social media shit today, actually. I want to talk about Rhea, Dom, and Liv. I want to talk about the stands. I want to talk about what the fuck is going on Twitter. Not just with them, but also with a bunch of other superstars who have been tweeting about lately. I want to talk about CM Punk discussing AEW. I want to talk about Shane McMahon meeting with Tony Khan. There's so much to discuss. Let's start with the Twitter problems. Listen, I am a ride or die fan, okay? I love to go dramatically hardo for my people, right? Okay, I've been doing this with Dom Dom for so fucking long, okay? Because as I like to always remind you, I was here during the Dom Dom babyface run, okay? So I was here before all y'all motherfuckers. But the Liv and Rhea stands, y'all, respectfully, y'all so motherfucking toxic. Y'all are some crazy ass bitches out here. Because what I think is interesting, and I talked about this with Johnny the other day, is it's not, stan culture is different than just like being overly invested, in my opinion. Like, the idea of being a stan of someone specific, it's a different version of tribalism. And respectfully, we don't see it a ton in wrestling. We see tribalism, we don't see stan culture. Stan culture really kind of comes for your neck, if I'm being honest. It's more of like a pop culture thing than it is in like wrestling. And I think now, because these, like, you know, the celebrities that are being stanned and talked about are women, I think it's coming out a lot more. I don't think as many male celebrities, like, fans really do like the hardcore stan culture for. There are some, of course, but just it doesn't happen as often. I also think it's because majority of stan culture is women. It's female fans. So in wrestling, obviously, very much so male dominated field. So we don't see this type of behavior that often, where it's women fighting for the women they stan, and it's just a full thing. So it's pretty fucking crazy. And genuinely, I have seen some crazy tweets be popping out of here. Some have been since deleted, but Rhea stans are like going so fucking hard at Liv. Like, Liv can't breathe correctly without them shitting on her. And then like over analyzing everything that Dom does, and like to the point that I've seen people be like, he obviously is a double agent, like it obviously makes no sense. And then they'll do like a picture of him like just standing there, and he's obviously miserable, like obviously, like there it's similar to tribalism in that it's like way too invested in like the story and what's happening. And don't get me wrong, I am not against being invested in wrestling and in storylines. It is entertainment. That's what it is there for. I love that. I am a part of that. I always get super invested. But invested to the point that you're saying you hope that Dom gets publicly executed feels like a lot. You know? Feels like it's a little too much. We're going a little too far. And in a lot of ways, I think there's something, I don't even know how I want to word this. I was going to say special about stan culture. I think it's cool in that, like, a lot of times stan culture can bring people together, like people who have similar interest in like the person or the show or the whatever it is that they're like supporting. And like I have found a couple really cool like Dom fans on Twitter through like all of this psychosis, which has been cool. But I just think like this is, I think, in recent memory of like anything that I can think of, the first time that like true female stan culture has made its way into wrestling, and shit has hit the fucking fan. Okay? It's literally insane. And I also want to say, Liv fans, some of y'all going crazy hard at Rhea too. I didn't mention that, so I don't want it to sound like I'm like, oh, Rhea stans are like going insane. Both sides are going insane. both sides are like hardcore coming together, and a lot of it is just like it's reaching. Like a lot of it is reaching. Like Rhea stans are calling Liv, like they're calling Liv obsessive and like whatever, or like Liv stans calling Rhea obsessive, and then Rhea stans are like, well, she was obsessed with Dominic for how many months while Rhea was out and da da da, and it's just like it's never ending. For me, it kind of feels like worlds meshing together, because I grew up like super invested in like pop culture and like celebrities, and like I do like the ride or die thing for like the wrestlers that I love, but I did this all growing up. Like I was that girl that like loved celebrities, and like anything that like Justin Bieber did, I watched the show, I supported it, like whatever. And I think it's kind of crazy to me watching like stan culture integrate into wrestling, because the response is a mix of like some people are like, this is fucking awesome, these bitches be crazy, and the other half is like, this is terrifying, this is way too much, we need y'all to calm the fuck down. And I'm kind of just sitting in the middle, like I've definitely blocked some pages, muted some pages, because it's getting a little crazy. So reminder to everybody that stan culture is great, but let's tone down the death threats. Let's start there. Also, y'all, I have had a long ass motherfucking day. So, cheers to the Celsius. Let's get into the next topic. Probably should have gotten alcohol for this. Let's talk about CM Punk and AEW. I think one of the biggest things that is constantly kind of going back and forth in the wrestling online world is talking about a wrestler that you truly don't like. And this is something that I've, in transparency, gone a little back and forth with over the last few years. So like when I first started making wrestling content, I talked about everybody. Like if somebody I didn't like did something, I absolutely posted about it and shitted on them. And it was a lot. And like if somebody did something I didn't like, I would absolutely post about it. I would shit on them. I would do the whole thing. And then like vice versa. Like I posted everything. And I think since then, I think the wrestling kind of community has like, I don't know if I want to say grown, but it's changed a little bit where like, and maybe it's just because like I have like a lot more followers now than I did back then. So there's a little bit more of like a spotlight on me and what I say sometimes, or people are just more used to me and the way that I speak and all that. But now I've transitioned a little bit to like, I'm much more picky about when I choose to speak about a wrestler or a person that I don't like, i.e. CM Punk, right? So I'm much more picky about it because although I think it's stupid, a lot of the response that I would get, despite, in my opinion, talking about legit issues and things that were important, if I talk about him in a negative way, it's like, oh, fan behavior. Oh my God, you say you don't like him, but you never stop talking about him. Now, with CM Punk fans specifically, respectfully or disrespectfully, y'all do that shit all the time. They say that, and then, like, those same fans that are like, oh, well, you claim to hate, like, so-and-so, but you talk about them, and you did this, and you posted this. But then vice versa, they're also doing it. They're shitting on, if we're sticking with the Punk example, Jack Perry, Hangman, all the same thing. So it's very, very interesting. And I think we're all aware of the internet, and the world nowadays really picks and chooses when they want to stick to their guns on something. And that leads me to the CM Punk topic. Because this bitch, yet again, taking shots at AEW. And I understand that in some interviews it's brought to him. But I saw one interview, and I don't know who the guy was, but he asked Punk about the Shane McMahon Tony Khan meeting, and Punk was just like, pass. That's what, like, that was I literally actually just saw that earlier today. And I was like, that's the response. Like, he wants to be, like, this mature adult who's, like, better than everybody else and more mature than everybody else. Okay, so then act like it. Because What I saw on Twitter not that long ago was him making dumbass fucking comments about, oh, I finally see fans on the hard side where the camera is, the camera hard side, what the fuck it's called. Bitch, it's just so fucking exhausting. And I understand that CM Punk got fired from the Underdog company and went running back to the Monopoly company, and he's backed by all the big dudes and the big shots and all the money and all the fans who don't give a fuck what he's done in the past. I hear that, and I know that he feels so powerful and invincible, and I just so love that for him. But it's fucking exhausting. And it's even more exhausting because it is a lie. I understand there may be some WWE tribalists in here who are going to tell me AEW never has fans in the crowd. I have been to so many fucking AEW shows. Shut the fuck. Like, at this point, you know you're lying. And I don't understand the point of it. Like, I will just never be able to grasp why this is what people spend their time doing. But then, to be fair, people like Phillip Brooks are not helping the scenario. They are quite literally only making it worse. Because there was no point to this. There was no point to all of the fucking AEW comments that happened during WrestleMania. If you're talking about AEW during WrestleMania week, the biggest week of the year for you, I need you. You're in the wrong industry, clearly, because you're not having a good time. Because you should be so hyped and so focused on yourself. And that fucking Ariel Helwani, whatever the fuck that dude's name is, set up those interviews with those fucking questions about AEW for both Cody and Punk. Get a life. I'm on the Tony Khan, like, fuck this dude train. Because so unnecessary and so genuinely dumb. Like, we understand Triple H doesn't like AEW. We all grasp that. We understand CM Punk mad at AEW. We get that. Cody Rhodes, woo, back and forth at AEW, not fully sure how he feels. We understand. We're not going to get any, there's no new information to be taken from any of these men, any of these perspectives. There's nothing new to say. There's nothing new that's happened. Let it fucking die. And he just won't. And I will never grasp it. And I will never understand why we don't apply the, if you don't like them, stop fucking talking about them because you sound obsessive and crazy. I don't understand why we're not applying that here. I don't understand why nobody calls him out for it here, except for me. I will do that every single time, Philip. I will be on your fucking ass because it's annoying. And it always shows up on my feed. No matter how many fucking bitches I block, it will show up somewhere on my feed. I will be tagged somewhere. I can't deal with it. Although, to be fair, I get tagged way less than I used to. I blocked so many pages on so many social media platforms. It's actually been really nice. I should take that back. I haven't been tagged nearly as much as I used to, which has been great. But it's just fucking exhausting. So I need us as like a community, we gotta stop picking and fucking choosing who we're calling out for this shit because it's so fucking irritating. Let's talk about Shane McMahon. I have talked a couple times, I believe on here, but definitely on the podcast. Tony Khan, my sweet TK, my sweet little man, I love you. I do. I love you so much, and I support you, and I want you and AEW and everybody there to thrive so fucking hard. Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon. Be so fucking for real. Okay? Not even going into the conspiracy theories of he's a double agent for WWE and whatever other bullshit everybody's spewing. Shane McMahon. What the fuck is he gonna do? I'm so serious. I cannot recall off the top of my head. Now, mind you, my memory does suck, but I cannot recall one time where Shane McMahon came onto my TV and I popped. I can't tell you one fucking time that happened. It just feels weird. Even if, like, he hates his father, and, like, we're all there with you, Shane. We are. But even if, like, he hates his father, and it's, like, in spite of his, it feels weird. It feels like something's off. I get, and I don't know if maybe it's just, like, me processing, like, the McMahon name being in AEW, or just, I'm having a hard fucking time up here. But just, like, I just feel like I don't want it. I feel like it's just I feel like it's going to be drama filled for some reason. And maybe I'm overthinking it, but I feel like it's just going to cause problems. I don't think necessarily like the wrestlers are going to have problems with him being there. But I feel like it's going to be like an internet explosion and everybody loses their shit and it's going to get way more attention than it needs and all this other dramatic stuff. And I guess my thing is, I don't know if it's worth it. I'm curious as to like, what could he possibly do? Like, what could he bring? What is he going to give us? Because if it's something like really good, like if I'm getting like a long time MJF Ospreay feud with a much better fucking character than this, whatever the fuck is happening to MJF American shit right now, I could be seated. I could be intrigued. Be talked into listening. You know, I could hear you out. But I don't get it. I'm a little nervous. I think there are, now while I love TK, I think there are definitely a few things that I would have done differently had I been TK. But I want to support. I'm just a little nervous that bringing Shane McMahon on might lean more towards a mistake than like a helpful tool. So, y'all let me know what you think. I'm open to thoughts, point of views, perspectives on this one. But I'm not sold. I'm not sold on that one. I don't think I like that one. Finally. Last topic. This was really the like episode of like things that irritate me today. I want to go back to Twitter for a little bit. So I'm sure plenty of you have probably seen the Logan Paul tweets about the boxer in the Olympics. Backstory, if you're unaware, she has a genetic disorder. So she technically has XY chromosomes, right? Obviously, women do not usually have XY chromosomes. She obviously went through all of the like Olympic like testing and, you know, all the shit, whatever I don't do science, whatever the fuck they do. She went through all that and she was approved as like a fair competitor for women's boxing. At some point it got out that she had XY and that side of the world imploded and Logan Paul went right with it. Here's my thing. I'm unsurprised. Let's start there. I'm not at all surprised that Logan Paul went on like a crazy fucking rant on Twitter, which then eventually turned into like transphobic tweets and a bunch of others. There was plenty of tweets to go off of. I'm not surprised by any of that information. What I think irks me the most outside of that is the fact that it's very well known that Sami Zayn is restricted on what he's allowed to post and say publicly because of a lot of his views. His Sammy for Syria doesn't get posted about too often, at least not that I see. But he even like he wanted to post supporting Palestine, and he had like a Gaza bracelet on, and he had to like adjust the bracelet so it showed, and then was like, oh, my nephew took this photo for no reason and posted it that way. Like, he can't even like post his own political like and personal views on Twitter, and this is very well known that he is restricted in this aspect because of things like that photo. But Logan Paul can go on this rant, and here's what's even crazier. People called him out for misinformation, so he quote tweeted himself, captioned it, oopsies, looks like I've been spreading misinformation, and then doubled down on the misinformation, which just like, I know the dude has no fucking brain cells, but that literally doesn't make any fucking sense. If you're like, oh, oops, I spread misinformation, but this is the truth. It literally doesn't make fucking sense. It's literally insane to me. But anyway, so all this goes down, right? What makes me fucking irritated, I think one of the things on a separate thing that kind of ties into this, because I'm just kind of bouncing around topics today. What drives me crazy is I hate when there are certain wrestlers who like just get so much clear favoritism from like Tony or Triple H. It drives me insane. It drove me insane when TK gave CM Punk all this special like fucking treatment, and it's driving me crazy that Triple H is now doing it for Logan Paul. I can't stand it, because it's not even like it's not even that, like, Logan is, like, so much more superstar than Sami Zayn. Like, Sami Zayn is one of the biggest names in wrestling. One of the most beloved names in wrestling. So it's not, like, that type of comparison. It's literally just, like, I don't know what the Triple H agrees with him. I have no fucking idea. But Logan he goes on all these tweets, like, this rant on fucking Twitter. And they made Drew take down the picture with Jack Perry. They don't allow Sami to post anything about, like, Save Palestine or Syria or Saudi or, like, anything that he wants to post. LA Knight captured his photo, oopsies, and they made him take it fucking down. I literally can't. I just can't deal with it. I'm so fucking tired of stuff like this happening where it's just, like, someone like Logan, not even just, like, who he is as a person, but, like, saying the stuff that you're saying and, like, that's okay, but what Sami wants to post isn't okay? Are you out of your fucking mind? It's just so ignorant, and so much of WWE is on, like, so many of the wrestlers, like, really use social media as, like, a huge part of, like, it's used. Livdom and Rhea are using it for, like, part of their fucking storyline. Chelsea Green used social media to literally get herself booked back on TV and, like, onto the run that she's been on, which has been iconic, by the way. And to be fair to fans, they did call it out when Logan tweeted all of that, and then they were like, but whoa, Sami can't tweet any like personal views and shit like this, but Logan can do all this. And something must have changed or popped off because Sami started tweeting. Sami Zayn has started tweeting and basically calling people fucking idiots, which, iconic, Samuel, iconic. And for a happiness update at the end of this little part here, the female boxer, Amin is her name, she is now suing J.K. Rowling, Elon Musk, and Logan Paul. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being patient for me to get this out. In full transparency, we have been doing a lot of traveling. I have been so busy with work, like my 9-to-5 work, trying to get content out, and then me and Johnny both kind of battling, like, exhaustion, not sleeping well, being sick, all of those things. So appreciate the patience as I took a little bit longer than I wanted to get this out. But thank you for coming here. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. I want to get a lot more YouTube content out here. So if anybody has any suggestions or thoughts or content that you would like to see, please feel free to also leave that in the comments. But now I am going to go record the Patreon half of this episode, which is going to be a little long. So let me run y'all through it. So we are going to be talking about CM Punk wants to stay in WWE forever and then run out of NXT. So we are going to be talking about CM Punk in a short topic. He wants to stay in WWE forever and then run NXT. We'll talk about that. The MJF versus Britt Baker kind of fiasco that has been going on. I did want to talk about Rikishi and Jay because that shit was really funny. And then a couple of follower requests. How will the Steelers do this season? As well as the good and the bad of Triple H booking decisions. So I'm going to have a list of both, and we're going to be talking about those too. Plus even more. So make sure that you go and check that out. My Patreon is always linked in my bio. And we have lots of really cool, fun stuff and content and other random shit that we do on there. So go check it out. But yeah, thank you.